The hallway light was off. Her door was ajar. I only needed my charger. I stepped in without knocking, and the mirror reflected my face before she turned. Aunt Claire was standing in front of her vanity, her back to me, hair gathered loosely over one shoulder. She didn't flinch when I entered, didn't even look at me, just reached up and touched the side of her neck, fingertips grazing skin as if finishing a gesture I'd interrupted. The warm amber light from her vanity lamp cast a soft glow across her bare arms and collarbone. Her blouse was half-buttoned. Not carelessly, deliberately. I froze. She looked at me only through the mirror. Her eyes met mine in the glass, unhurried, steady. "You always sneak up like that?" she said. No smile, no surprise, just a question. Like we'd done this before. I didn't mean to. "I thought you weren't in here," I said quickly, retreating half a step. "I just came for the charger." She turned slightly, not enough to face me, just enough so I could see the curve of her jaw, the way her lips pressed together thoughtfully. "It's by the nightstand," she said. I crossed the room, trying not to look again, but the mirror caught me, caught both of us. Her standing still, me trying to act like nothing was wrong. As I leaned to grab the cable, I felt it, that stretch of silence. Not tension, something quieter, denser, like the moment before lightning hits. She broke it first. "Your mom will be back soon." "I know. Don't linger." Her voice had changed lower, sharper. It wasn't a suggestion. It was a rule. And then, "Whatever this is, it doesn't happen. You understand." I nodded, but I didn't move. She turned the last inch, now fully facing the mirror, eyes still locked with mine. She brushed one side of her blouse closed and buttoned the next button. Slowly, almost like a test, like she wanted to see if I'd look away. I didn't. Footsteps in the hallway. A voice. "Nick." My mother. I jerked away from the nightstand. "Yeah, just getting my charger." A pause. Then, "Hurry up. We're starting the movie." I waited until her steps faded. My hand was still on the charger, but I didn't unplug it. Aunt Claire didn't move. Her hands rested on the vanity. Her eyes dropped to the mirror. "You're still here," she said. "I should go." She reached forward and turned off the vanity light. The room dimmed. Shadows wrapped around us. "Close the door on your way out," she said, but not like she was asking me to leave, like she was seeing if I would. I hesitated. My fingers grazed the doorknob, and then I let the door click shut. From the inside, it was past midnight. The house was dark except for the faint underglow of the kitchen light and the flicker from the muted TV in the living room. Everyone had gone to bed after the movie, except me, and apparently her. I came downstairs for water, barefoot, careful not to creak the steps. As I passed the living room, I saw her. Aunt Claire sat curled on the edge of the couch, wrapped in a thin cream robe, legs tucked under her. Her hair was damp. A towel rested beside her. On her lap, a thick leather-bound photo album, the kind no one opens anymore. "You're still up?" I asked quietly. She looked up without surprise. "So are you." I couldn't sleep. She patted the cushion beside her. "Come sit. This thing's older than both of us." I hesitated, but not for long. The air in the living room felt warmer than it should have. From the window, I could see the orange glow of the street lamp pouring through the curtain edges. She smelled faintly of eucalyptus and warm fabric softener. The robe slipped slightly from one shoulder, but she made no move to fix it. She flipped the page. "That's your mom at prom. And me. Don't laugh." I didn't. Claire looked different then. Lighter. Smiling without restraint. "You were beautiful," I said before I could stop myself. She didn't react for a second. Then, "Were. You know what I mean." Her lips curved, not quite a smile, but not displeasure either. Another page. A faded photograph slid loose and she caught it before it hit the floor. "Ah, this one." She turned it toward me. A much younger version of her holding a hand mirror in front of her face. Her eyes were peeking over the top edge. Mischievous. Bold. "This," she said, "was from a trip to Venice. I bought this little mirror from a street vendor for €5. Said it would show you who you really were. Does it? Depends who's looking. She reached behind the photo and pulled out the actual mirror. Small, oval, silver edges tarnished with age. She handed it to me. You kept it all this time? I forget it's there, she said. Until someone reminds me. I held it up, catching both our faces side by side. Couldn't look away. Neither could she. Footsteps overhead. One of the floorboards groaned. We both tensed. It's probably your mom, she whispered. She gets up to check the oven sometimes. Out of habit. We didn't move. I was suddenly very aware of how close our knees were. The house creaked again. Then silence. She took the mirror from my hands. Slowly. Her fingers grazed mine longer than necessary. This thing's ridiculous, she murmured. But maybe it still works. Her eyes met mine, not in the mirror this time. Directly. I didn't know who leaned in first. Maybe neither of us did. But there was barely space between us. Then her phone vibrated on the table. Loud. Sudden. Bright screen lighting up the dark. We both jumped. The name said, Tom Work, but she didn't move to answer. Instead, she locked the screen and turned the phone face down. The mirror lay between us like some kind of offering. Claire stood and walked to the hallway. I thought she was leaving, but at the stairs she turned around. If you ever find yourself in front of my door, she said, voice low, knock twice. Then she vanished up the stairs, leaving the mirror where it lay. The morning was quiet, too quiet. I stayed in my room longer than usual, scrolling aimlessly, pretending not to wait for something. I wasn't sure what, a sound from the hallway, a message, anything. But nothing came. Around noon, I remembered I'd left my earbuds in the guest bathroom. I waited until I heard the front door close. My mom leaving for groceries, and slipped out. The hallway was empty. I reached for the bathroom door. But before I touched the handle, a voice behind me said, "Looking for these?" I turned. Aunt Claire stood in her doorway, holding my earbuds in one hand. She was barefoot, in soft gray pants and a loose black tank top. Hair tied up, no makeup. She looked less like the version I'd watched in the mirror the other night, and somehow even more impossible to ignore. "Thanks," I said, stepping forward. She didn't hand them to me, just stood there a second longer than she had to. "You left in a hurry last night," she said. I swallowed. "Did I?" "You did." Then she held out the earbuds. I took them. Our fingers touched. I almost pulled away but didn't. She didn't either. For a long second, neither of us said a word. Then the unmistakable sound of the front door unlocking broke everything. Mom was home. Claire stepped back instantly, her eyes snapping past me. "Go," she said, barely above a whisper. I turned, half running to my room, closing the door just as I heard my mom call, "Claire, you still here?" My heart was pounding. In my hand, the earbuds felt like evidence. Later that afternoon, while Mom was on the phone in the kitchen, I passed Claire in the hallway again. She didn't speak, didn't even glance at me, but her fingers brushed something into my palm as we passed. Piece of paper. Folded. I didn't open it until I was safely behind my door. It wasn't a note. It was the mirror. The same one from the photo album. Wrapped in tissue. Taped gently to the back. One word written in her handwriting. Tonight. My chest tightened. Not just from the word, but what it meant. It wasn't a dare anymore. Not some electric game of glances and shadows. She was choosing to make it real. I stared at the mirror in my hand. My face was distorted in the curve of its surface, but my eyes looked steady. That night, I waited until the whole house dimmed. 11:02. I stepped into the hallway. Her door was mostly closed, but a thread of warm light leaked from the crack near the floor. I walked silently, every step louder in my head than in the air. I raised my fist, knocked, once, twice. The door opened without a sound, just a few inches, and on the floor in the doorway, not inside, lay a small brass key. The brass key felt cold in my pocket the whole day. I kept touching it, like I had to make sure it was still there, still real. I barely looked at Claire during breakfast. She did the same. We were back to polite silences, safe glances, the same old mask. But something had shifted. The air around us knew. By late evening, the pressure in my chest made it hard to focus on anything else. Mom wanted to watch a movie again, but I told her I had a headache. I made tea, sat on the couch with them for 10 minutes, then excused myself to bed. It wasn't a lie. My head was throbbing from wanting too much. In my room, I turned off the light. Then I turned off my phone. Not silent, off. No distractions. No calls. No tracking. At 11:14, I left my room and crossed the hallway. Light peeked out again from under her door. I didn't knock this time. The key slid in with no resistance. The lock clicked softly. She was sitting on the bed. Same lamp on the nightstand. A loose sweater slipped off one shoulder. Her legs crossed, bare feet touching the edge of the rug. She didn't say anything when I entered, just looked at me like I'd already been there for hours. I closed the door behind me and leaned against it. "You kept the mirror," she said. "I shouldn't have. But you did." I stepped closer, slow. "You shouldn't have left it. But I did." Her voice was flat, almost tired. I sat in the chair near the window. We weren't touching, not even close, but the space between us was charged. Claire looked down at her hands. "I didn't think it would get this far. I didn't know what to say to that, so I didn't. I was married at 24, she said suddenly, to someone everyone loved. My parents, your mom, the neighbors, and I kept loving him out of habit, until it felt like I was performing someone else's version of stability. I stayed silent. Claire continued. "He's in Chicago now. We haven't slept in the same room in over a year. He thinks I just need space. I think I just need a reason to stop lying." Her eyes found mine again. "That mirror was the first gift I ever bought for myself." I swallowed. "And you gave it to me." She nodded once. "Because you looked at me like I still existed." Silence stretched and broke. There was a soft knock at the front door. Not upstairs, downstairs. Just once. Claire sat up straighter, eyes wide. "Did someone see you come in?" I shook my head. "No one." I waited. I made sure. We both froze, listening. Another knock. Louder this time. Claire stood. "If it's your mom." I was already moving toward the closet. "I'll hide." "No. Wait." She grabbed my arm. Her grip was tight. "No more hiding." Her eyes blazed with something I hadn't seen before. Not fear. Defiance. The door downstairs creaked. We both heard it. Then my phone, forgotten on my nightstand, started vibrating. Over and over. It was in silent panic mode. Calls stacking. Claire glanced toward the sound, then looked at me. "You need to go," she said. "Now. I'm not leaving you alone. I'm not asking." She pushed the key into my palm again. "Tomorrow, midday, I'll be in the garden. If you come, you come." A third knock shook the downstairs door. I kissed her hand before I left. She didn't pull away. The next day, I waited until the house emptied. Mom had gone to the store again. Claire had said midday. It was 12:07 when I stepped into the backyard. She was there, kneeling beside the roses, pulling weeds with one gloved hand. Her hair was up again, loose strands falling around her face. She wore a faded green shirt and jeans with soil on the knees. Ordinary, unstaged, real. She didn't look up when I approached. Didn't even flinch when I said, "You're getting dirt on your wedding ring." "I took it off 2 months ago," she said, calm, measured. "No one noticed." I crouched beside her. "I would've." Finally, she looked at me, and for once without tension, without the game, just us. "I didn't think you'd come," she said. "I didn't think I had a choice." Claire smiled, small and sad. "You always have a choice." She stood and brushed off her hands. "So what now?" I stepped closer. "I'm not asking for answers. Just honesty." She hesitated. "I don't know what this is, what we are. We're the only ones who see it," I said. "In that mirror. And in each other." She stared at me, And how long before someone else sees it too? A gust of wind moved through the garden. The roses behind her swayed like they were holding their breath. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the little mirror. The one she gave me. I held it up between us. "This started it," I said. She looked into it. Our faces fit in the frame. Closer than before. She touched my hand. Not the mirror. Not her own reflection. My hand. "I want it," she said softly. "What?" "The risk. The wrongness. You." We didn't kiss. Not yet. But the moment was louder than a kiss. Heavier. Truer. She stepped back, looked toward the house. "Your mom's shift ends early today. We have maybe 10 minutes. Then let's make them count." I followed her through the back door, through the quiet kitchen, up the stairs, into her room. She didn't lock the door this time. She closed it, but didn't hide. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. 1 week later, everything outside returned to normal. Breakfast, movies, polite silence. But once a day, exactly at dusk, I'd find the mirror somewhere new. Under my pillow, behind the bathroom faucet, inside my laundry basket, taped to a water bottle. Always clean, always wordless. A game, a ritual. Her way of saying, "I'm still here." And when I found it, I'd wait. That night, it was on my windowsill, facing outward. I took it in my hand, and the first thing it reflected was her silhouette standing quietly in the hallway, waiting,